Are you all fired up?
Yeah!
Right? Are you fired up?
Yeah!
Are you fired up and committed to end rape culture?
Yeah!
Thank you. Me too. My name is Chelsea Byers, and I am the Executive Director of CASTLE. CASTLE is the national campaign to abolish statutes of limitations on rape and sexual assault. I am joined by activists and leaders from communities, organizations across Southern California, and in solidarity with organizations around the country. Thank you all for your dedication to ending rape culture and ending the violence that happens against far too many women, men, LGBT people, and children, not just here in the entertainment industry, which will be celebrated by an audience of over 30 million people tonight, but your commitment to ending sexual violence and discrimination that takes place in all industries, in all communities, in every country around the globe. Please feel free and feel safe to speak your truth here. If you have been the victim or know someone who has been the victim of sexual assault, rape, harassment, or discrimination, please raise your hand. Together, we will end this by holding our society accountable, because this ends now. 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 We demand change. We demand justice for survivors. We stand here today committed to ending the culture of silence that keeps truth living in darkness. For CASTLE, that work is in ending the statute of limitations on rape and sexual assault in all 50 states. As Gloria Allred once said, these reporting time limits on sexual violence are a predator's best friend and a victim's worst nightmare. Today, you will hear from Victoria Valentino, who survived sexual violence at the hands of Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is one of several known predators who still hold Academy membership to this day. And it is despicable that the Academy continues to shield this predator. Victoria is one of over 60 women who have been denied justice because of expired statutes of limitations. Her story is the story of countless survivors across the country who have been denied justice by a legal system and further silenced by cultural institutions like the Academy, who choose to shield known predators. Here on the Walk of Fame, the very beginning of it, we see that Hollywood has yet to truly walk their talk, and the insiders still know this to be true. 62 people accused Bill Cosby. 15 people accused Kevin Spacey. More than 50 people accused Harvey Weinstein. 395 people accused James Toback. Representation on and off the screen continues to be unjust and imbalanced, and we know that these facts are linked. In an exclusive, male-dominated patriarchal society, we all lose. This is why the battle to change laws begins here. We must abolish all facets of rape culture. And as the Me Too movement has proved through millions and millions of survivors echoing Me Too, survivors have been long silenced by cultural and legal institutions that uphold, conceal, and celebrate predators. That day is over. Here in the heart of Hollywood, as the 90th Academy Awards take place just down the street, we call on our cultural leaders to recognize the ways in which they enable and uphold rape culture that silences survivors. Ending the culture of silence is a critical step towards justice for survivors of sexual violence in every corner of the globe. In September 2016, California ended the existing 10-year statute of limitation on rape. In our great state, where 1/10 of the U.S. population resides, there is no longer a reporting time limit for rape. Tragically, we cannot say the same for the rest of the country. There are still 32 states with statutes of limitation for sexual assault, ranging from 1 year to 30 years. And let me be very clear, your zip code should not change your potential for justice.
That's right. That's right.
California was born out of the grassroots effort that began here in California with the support of great community organizations like Hollywood Now, whose leaders you will hear from today. Taking this fight to the remaining states will take all of us. We cannot do this alone. People often ask why women are hesitant to report their abuse. And the answer is pretty simple. The answer is because 16 women reported the harassment, abuse, and rape they felt from the same man, and that man publicly became president of this country. But that was a different day. Me Too shook up the nation, igniting a new generation of leaders that will not stop until rape culture has ended. This new generation of leaders will not be silenced. We will be loud and fierce and bold and united in this fight to end rape culture. 2017 became the year of the silence breakers. 2018 will be the year of the justice seekers. Castle is here to say, speak your truth, seek your justice, because justice has no time limit. Now I want to introduce our next speaker. She is Playboy's Miss September 1963, a writer, an author, and a survivor of Bill Cosby. Please welcome Victoria Valentino.
Thank you very much. I am humbled to be part of this group. I was one of the founding members of Aersol, amongst several of the other people who are here today. Aersol was the grassroots effort to abolish the 10-year statute of limitations on rape and sexual assault in California. Jerry Brown signed it into law on September 28, 2016, and it went into effect on the 1st of January 2017. So in California, there is no statute of limitations on rape and sexual assault. It is not, however, retroactive. So if you happen to have DNA evidence, if you happen to have your predator, your abuser's voice on tape admitting to having raped you prior to the 1st of January 2017, you are up the creek without a paddle. You can't do a thing about it, and that predator remains free to continue to subject other innocent victims, children, their neighbor, their mother, their daughter, and anybody who doesn't have recourse. Sadly enough, because I was a Playboy Playmate in 1963, I have an awful lot of people saying, well, gee, maybe that was why you got raped, you flashing your boobs and everything. Well, you know what? Dick Gregory put it right on target. I should be able to walk down the bloody street naked. Yes. And not have anybody reach out and touch me unless I offer that invitation. Yes. Because it's my space, my body, my sacred boundaries. And I have been a Screen Actors Guild member since 1966. Guess how I wound up getting my Screen Actors Guild card? I got Taft-Hartley'd in playing the star of of How to Succeed in Business's Fanny double. When they wanted me on the set, they yelled, "Fanny!" So I was reduced to that. But becoming a Playmate and being a Screen Actors Guild, and my father was a member of the Motion Picture Academy. He was an iconic, legendary Disney artist from back in the days when Disney really was Disney, Fantasia and Pinocchio and Bambi, and everything was pretty wholesome, at least so we thought. And I remember so many times being told, just stand there and look pretty. Don't say anything intelligent and spoil it. And you would think that today, in our day and age, that women producers and women actors and women directors should have respect, have opportunity, have their ideas, their creative projects honored and exalted, and yet they are not. Their ideas are taken and told they're not really all that worthy, and then, 5 minutes later, guess who winds up promoting that very idea with slight modifications? The male producer above them. I have a friend, a neighbor, who had that happen. She wound up having to leave the business. Now, why should women, creative, talented, brilliant women, committed have to leave their careers because of sexual harassment, gender discrimination, rape, that they can't report because they are afraid of not being able to pay the rent, put food in their kids' mouths. I mean, what's that about, really? We are the 51% minority. I'm going to turn the mic back over to Chelsea, but I just want you to know that Cosby's retrial will be on April 2nd in Norristown, Pennsylvania, and I will be there and I will be speaking, and anybody who can get there, please join us. We want justice. And when do we want it?
Now!
When?
Now!
When?
Now!
You got it.
I will be with her in Norristown on April 2nd. I encourage you all to join us in solidarity. As Victoria said or indicated, statutes of limitation, those SOLs, they've really stood for shit out of luck for way too many survivors, and we're done with that. The next person I want to introduce is Gia. Gia is a re-entry counselor for health justice and responds to those in the LGBTQI2S community who are impacted by incarceration. I met Gia while we were speaking at Vagina Monologues for the last 2 years together, and Gia is a fierce, fierce advocate, and I am so grateful to bring you to the stage. Thanks, Gia.
Hello, Hollywood. Thank you for having me. My name is Gia Elias. I'm a transgender woman of color, and I am a survivor of assault and a victim of predatory behavior for the past, since I was 12. Growing up as an androgynous youth, I can tell you I automatically already knew what the benefits and dangers were for being viewed as a cisgender woman. Trans women are consistently underreported in the assaults that they go through. Just down the street off of Santa Monica is a notorious and infamous block of sex work where many of the depictions of trans women are solely based off of those experiences here in Hollywood on the street economy. I don't know how many times I've been called in to audition as a prostitute, as a sex worker, and as a substance abuse victim. Day in, day out, we have trans stories told by people with little to no trans experience and very, very little allyship. Our stories are not told by people of trans experience, and here in Hollywood, we are consistently being exploited for these stories and underrepresented in police reports and hate crimes. This is the year of 2018. Last year we had just under 30 trans murders reported last year here in the US, and this year there's already 7 trans murders. I will not tell you how to be an ally. I'm going to urge you to be a person who values human life and loves your brother and sisters here. And non-binary people, I can't even tell you. California is now going to acknowledge non-binary, non-gender conforming people, right? But what does that mean for us in our gender neutral spaces? Does that mean we'll constantly be gendered? Does that constantly mean that we have to live up to a binary social structure? How will you support your trans siblings? How will you be a voice in knowing that victims of assault and rape in the trans community is a skyrocketing majority? Suicide in the trans community is almost at 50%, pre and post operations. I'm here to tell you that trans people of color have a voice and will no longer be oppressed and will no longer stay silent in knowing that Hollywood only wants to see visibly trans people in oppressive situations. We can thrive. I work with LGBTQI2S youth in juvenile hall, and I can tell you that they are suffering from the binary culture that we live in today. If you want our youth to thrive, if you want our next generation to be as powerful as we should be, please support your non-binary youth, your trans people of color, and any gender and sexual minority. Thank you.